Imagine this. A city born from the wild dream of one man. A city carved out of mud and marshes by sheer willpower, standing tall today as Russia's imperial jewel. St. Petersburg, the Venice of the North, the former capital of the Russian Empire, the birthplace of revolutions, home to the Hermitage Museum and the legendary Mariinsky Theater. A city dipped in art, soaked in history, polished with romance, and shrouded in a mystique that makes Instagram travelers swoon. But here's the question that nobody answers honestly. Does the postcard perfection and poetic charm survive when you swap your return ticket for a permanent address? Is living here the fairy tale it appears to be, or is it a frozen, bone-chilling reality hiding behind golden domes and Baroque facades? That's exactly what we're about to explore. By the end of this journey, you'll know if St. Petersburg is the adventure of a lifetime or a love affair better left as a vacation fling. Number 1. The city that shouldn't exist. Let's start with a mind-bending fact: St. Petersburg shouldn't even exist. Back in 1703, Peter the Great, in one of history's most ambitious real estate projects, looked at a patch of desolate, mosquito-infested swampland at the edge of the Neva River and said, "This will be Russia's window to Europe." And boom, an entire city began to rise from the mud. Workers drained the marshes, fought floods, and battled freezing winds to build palaces and canals worthy of the Russian Empire's grandeur. Fast forward 3 centuries, and here we are at 5.4 million people living in a metropolis bigger than many European countries. Ireland? Smaller. New Zealand? Smaller. Even some US states like Delaware would disappear on the map next to it. But nature hasn't forgiven this intrusion. The city was built on 40-plus islands stitched together by over 800 bridges, making it Europe's largest as Venice by far. And don't forget, St. Petersburg lies just 6 degrees south of the Arctic Circle. That means summers where the sun refuses to set, and winters so long and dark they can test your sanity. Number 2. Culture that hits you like a tsunami. You can't talk about this city without mentioning its cultural obsession. St. Petersburg isn't just Russia's cultural capital, it's an entire universe of art crammed into one place. Over 200 museums. 80 theaters. 4,000 protected monuments. For comparison, Paris has about 130 museums. London? Around 240. Here, you can drown in art before lunch. The Hermitage Museum alone has 3 million works of art. Think about that: if you spent just 1 minute looking at each piece, it would take you over 5 years to see them all. And that's just one museum. Then you have the Mariinsky Theater, where Tchaikovsky's ballets first stunned the world. On a random Tuesday, you can catch world-class opera, Shakespeare performed in Russian, or an art exhibit by a painter you've never heard of but will never forget. Number 3. The money reality nobody tells you. Let's burst another bubble. Living here isn't as cheap as you might think. Sure, public transport costs less than $1, healthcare is subsidized, and education is affordable compared to the West. But if you want a Western lifestyle, organic coffee, imported gadgets, downtown apartments, your wallet will feel the pain. A coffee in Nevsky Prospect cafes? $3 to $5. Dinner at a decent restaurant? $15 to $30. Imported products like iPhones or Italian cheese can cost double or triple thanks to taxes and currency swings. Salaries? Qualified professionals often make between $800 and $1,200 a month. Tech workers might earn more, but for many expats, the math feels strange: cheap metro rides but expensive avocados. That's the paradox of St. Petersburg living costs: basics are affordable, luxuries are astronomical. Number 4. Winter, the monster that rules the city. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the polar bear. Winter in St. Petersburg isn't a season. It's an occupation. From October to April, the city becomes a frozen battlefield between humans and nature. Temperatures regularly sink below -20 degrees Celsius -4 degrees Fahrenheit. You leave home in darkness, work in gray daylight, return in darkness. It messes with your head. Seasonal affective disorder is so common here doctors treat it like the flu. And yet, winter here has its own strange beauty. Ice skating rinks glow under fairy lights. Steam rises from Russian banyas, wood-fueled saunas where people leap from boiling rooms into snowbanks like lunatics. It's brutal, yes. But it's also magical in a way tropical countries will never understand. Number 5. Breaking the cold Russian stereotype. Western movies love portraying Russians as grim, vodka-soaked villains with zero sense of humor. Reality? Totally different. True, strangers on the street won't beam sunny smiles at you like in California. But crack the initial shell, and St. Petersburg locals reveal themselves as some of the warmest, most loyal friends you'll ever have. Russian friendships aren't casual. When someone invites you to their home, expect a feast that lasts 6 hours and conversations that wander from Tolstoy to space travel to whether happiness actually exists. These aren't small talk people. These are big talk people. But earning that trust takes time, effort, and yes, Russian language skills. Number 6. Language and bureaucracy, the twin boss levels. Here comes the hardest part of living in St. Petersburg, Russian itself. Not just new words. A whole new alphabet. 6 grammatical cases. Sentences that twist like pretzels. And once you start learning, bureaucracy joins the party. Registering your address, getting a residence permit, opening a bank account, prepare for multiple offices, stamps, signatures, and rules that seem to change depending on who you ask. But once you survive the paperwork jungle and master enough Russian to argue with a plumber, doors start opening. Digital services like the Gosuslugi portal make many processes smoother than in countries still drowning in paper forms. The chaos slowly reveals an underlying system that actually works, most of the time. Number 7. Jobs, from ballet to big tech. St. Petersburg isn't just museums and palaces. It's also Russia's second-largest economic hub after Moscow. Tech companies like Yandex, JetBrains, and even offices of Microsoft and Google have thrived here. The city produces armies of software engineers, designers, and linguists. For IT professionals, salaries can be surprisingly competitive, especially if you freelance for foreign clients while enjoying local living costs. Education is another big sector. Universities constantly need English teachers, international program coordinators, and researchers. But there's a catch: high-level jobs often demand strong Russian skills. English might get you hired, Russian gets you promoted. Number 8. Transport, palaces underground, chaos above. If you want to see beauty in unexpected places, visit the St. Petersburg Metro. Opened in 1955, its stations look like underground ballrooms, marble columns, mosaics, chandeliers. Some feel grander than actual palaces. Rides cost less than $1, trains arrive every 2 minutes, and during the white nights in June, the system runs almost all night. But rush hour? Absolute madness. People pack into trains like sardines. Winter adds slippery platforms and brutal cold when you exit to street level. Escalators descend so deep they feel like mining shafts. Above ground, traffic jams test your patience daily. It's beauty and chaos layered together. Number 9. Food, beyond vodka and borscht. Let's kill another stereotype: Russians don't just eat beets and drink vodka. St. Petersburg's food scene has exploded recently. You'll find Georgian khachapuri cheese bread, Uzbek plav rice feasts, Armenian barbecue, vegan cafes, craft coffee shops, even sushi bars on every corner. Traditional Russian cuisine, dumplings, pickled vegetables, smoked fish, still dominates home kitchens, but restaurants now offer everything from French pastries to Thai curries. Summer brings dacha culture, city folks fleeing to country houses for weekends of grilling, berry picking, and cooking marathon meals served outdoors under endless twilight skies. It's food as social glue, not just fuel. Number 10. White nights, the city refuses to sleep. Speaking of endless twilight, nothing prepares you for St. Petersburg's white nights. From late May to mid-July, the sun barely dips below the horizon. Midnight looks like sunset. Festivals erupt everywhere: open-air concerts, rooftop parties, riverside picnics at 2 a.m. Families stroll with kids at hours when other cities lock their doors. It's magical, until you realize your body can't figure out when to sleep. Tourists love it, residents buy blackout curtains. Also, prices for everything, hotels, tours, even basic cafes, skyrocket as millions flood the city for this phenomenon. Number 11, Tech Dreams vs. Geopolitical Reality. St. Petersburg wants to be Eastern Europe's tech capital. It produces brilliant programmers, hosts international conferences, and offers startup tax breaks. Companies like JetBrains gained global fame from here. But politics complicate everything. Sanctions, visa limits, and geopolitical tensions have pushed some Western firms out. Opportunities exist, yes, but navigating them requires flexibility, and sometimes, backup plans abroad. Number 12, so, dream or nightmare? After all this, what's the verdict? Is St. Petersburg the imperial dream or the frozen nightmare? The answer depends entirely on you. If you crave history whispering from every building, art overflowing from every street, seasons that swing between eternal night and eternal day, friendships forged in vodka and poetry, this city will change you forever. But if you need warm winters, easy bureaucracy, instant social circles, or cheap imported cheese, prepare for frustration. St. Petersburg demands adaptation. It asks for language learning, cultural curiosity, emotional resilience, and yes, a good winter coat. Living here teaches you to treasure sunlight, value authentic relationships over small talk, and find beauty in challenges. It's not a city for passive spectators. It's a city that shapes you, toughens you, deepens you. As locals say, our city isn't for everyone. But those who understand it never forget it.